Then we turn our attention to coal. The coal ministry has allayed, or at least tried to allay fears over the possible shortage of coal to the thermal power plants in the country. And today, the ministry has updated that there is a 44.4% growth in coal stock position. The position of the stock of coal that's available in India, that has gone up 44.4% compared to the same period last year. My colleague Prakash has been tracking this story for us, including what we've heard from the coal ministry. And earlier from Delhi, he's filed this report.
Yeah, it's a positive development coming in when it comes to coal stock level in the country. Coal ministry has come out with the details and said that there is no shortage of coal to the thermal power plants at the moment. As per the coal ministry details, the coal stock position in the country is at 110 million ton as on June 13th, 2023, as compared to same period of last year, which was just 76.6 million ton. So there is a growth of more than 44% in this regard. Apart from that, out of this 110 million ton coal stock level, 35 million ton coal stock level is at thermal power plants, and 65 million ton coal stock level is at pit heads. When it comes to coal dispatch situation to the thermal power plants, as per the details that has been shared by the coal ministry, it stands at 164.84 million ton as on 13th June 2023, and there is a growth of more than 5% as compared to last year. So it's a very positive development, and the most significant aspect of this whole story is that there is no sign of depletion in coal stock level in last 2.5 months. When it comes to overall coal production so far in the financial year 2024, it has seen a growth of more than 8%. But the biggest hurdle at this moment before government is a transportation issue, the transportation of coal to the thermal power plants. A few days ago, we have asked this question to the coal minister, and he has confirmed that yes, this is the fact that there is a issue when it comes to availability of railway rakes for transportation of coal. But then regular touch with the railway ministry and hopeful to resolve this issue as soon as possible. In fact, government is very much poised to ban thermal coal imports by 2025 on back of higher production.
So production levels currently may be all right, and that's what the coal ministry has been heard saying. But in terms of transportation as well, are there concerns or not? What are the trouble points when it comes to coal and their availability to our power generation companies, including our thermal power plants? Let's get perspective on this from the former chairman of Coal India, Partha Bhattacharya. Definitely should know about this. Mr. Bhattacharya, great to have you on this edition of India Tonight. Thanks for making the time. Of course, this time we've had an early summer, and industrial power demand has been quite high post-pandemic as well. In your understanding, how do we stand on our coal production and our ability to provide enough coal to our power generation companies, and that includes our thermal power plants, sir?
We are today in a far better situation than what it was about 2 years back, around this time or maybe a little later, Q2 of 21-22, when suddenly we found that the stocks have depleted to as little as 4 days in the power plants. And that was absolutely an alarm bell that rang. Since then, I think Coal India, and I would also credit the railways, have together done a very coordinated, well-done job. And as a result, the coal stocks at the powerhouse end has gone up to, as we have mentioned, 35 million tons. 35 million tons will work out to somewhere around 16, 17 days. So that's very comfortable at their end. And in addition to that, if the coal stocks at the pitch is 65 million tons, and it has not depleted over this period, which means that we are supplying, our supplies to the power stations is less than production, and that is meeting the power stations requirement. I think we are on a very solid footing, and I don't see any possibility of this year, at any point of time this year, things becoming critical. Although Q2 is a difficult time, it will come, but I think we are well poised and well protected to take care of the Q2 situation from our stocks. Q2, normally the production will be lower than the dispatch, but that can be always made up by drawing down on stocks, which are at a very comfortable level. 65 million tons, I would say.
Acharya, you did laud the role that the railways has played. How real is the problem then? Because it has come up from time to time about the transportation of the coal stock from the pit heads to where coal is required. Are the railways currently able to provide enough rakes? Have they been able to do that, or that capacity needs to go up as well?
See, the point is that the pressure on railways may come from various directions. For example, in 21-22, the pressure came because imports were restricted by the power stations that were depending on imports. They all wanted domestic coal. So, and those are actually located in the western zone and southern zone. So a lot of transportation is involved. And railways were pressed to do that transportation. They couldn't do it without disturbing or disrupting the passenger trains and all that. So that was a hue and cry at that point in time. Right now, that situation is gone. But still, railway has a constraint. I mean, I think the number of rolling stocks and the tracks, etc., the freight corridors are not fully commissioned. So all these things have a little bit of a problem. There are a couple of feeder railway lines which have to be done, and they are being done, no doubt. But more has to be done so that railway can. A is the rakes, and B is the track situation, because in order to move fast, you have to have good tracks. So as you know, in the country, passenger track and freight track, in many places they are the same track. So that also restricts the speed and all that. So these are the constraints. But there has been improvements. Otherwise, it would not have been possible to supply so much of more coal. Improvement in terms of turnaround time. There has been an improvement. I mean,
but Mr. Bhattacharya, do you see risks up ahead as far as coal production is concerned? And what exactly would they be? What kind of troubleshooting do you perceive that needs to be done, especially for a Coal India, which, if I'm not mistaken, provides 80% of the coal that India needs?
Absolutely. Coal India provides 80%, and Coal India has done a spectacular job in 22-23 by growing at 13%, which is unheard of. 80 million tons growth in a single year. I mean, it is absolutely unheard of. And they are poised to do even more. I mean, it should be a repeat of that kind of performance in the current year also. They're already 10% higher than the last year's same period production. So Coal India's production profile is going to be really very comforting. And Coal India has also increased its presence in various segments, like underground production. They are now thrusting on that. And the basic problem for increasing underground production was the unavailability of equipment. Now there are a couple of domestic players who have undertaken the task of manufacturing those equipment. So the equipment availability is going to increase for underground mines. And there could be as many as 125 million tons of production coming from underground in a couple of years' time. So they are poised and growing in that direction. Underground mine coal quality is better. There is no chance of mixture with overburden and all that. So things are looking very bright for Coal India, and I do expect that the company will actually perform its role in a big way. And also it is complemented by the production from the other side, that is the captive mining segment and the commercial coal blocks. They will start producing. They have already started producing, but they will produce in larger quantities because the number of players there, some of them are very good players, great players. So I think the coal shortage situation, it is unlikely that we will revisit that in future in a very significant manner. We have suffered coal shortage for all these years.
Mr. Bhattacharya, you seem very convinced by the coal ministry and what they are saying as far as the availability of coal is concerned when it comes to production and also ability to transport coal stock to where they are required as far as power generation companies.
I know the facts on the ground. That comforts, not what the coal ministry says.
Absolutely. No, absolutely. And you should know, as former chairman of Coal India, it's a pleasure to get your perspective, sir. Thank you very much for joining us on this edition of India Tonight. Pleasure.
Thank you.